The, the, the blue spots are indications of decay and defect within the trees. They range from rot in the anchoring roots of the tree, indication of rot in the interior of the trunk. This particular tree, the blue spot is indicating the large swell that has occurred at the base of the tree, which is the tree trying to put good wood on the outside of decay on the inside. And then we have a number of these brackets and conchs. That is the fruiting body of decay expressing itself on the outside. Even without the conchs, you would be able to tell that, or just visually you would assume that there was decay just by the swelling in the buttress of the trunk. But with that confirms without having to do any drilling or sounding. This tree is very hollow. Not only that the conchs are on the base, but the number of conchs and the fact that they go up 20, 25, 30 feet up into the tree. This tree is one of the many extremely hazardous trees within this park.
Okay, now beat on it. Give me the sound.
This is just a rubber mallet that will give a hollow sound, which is another indication of the decay.
It sure does. And then we'll take it over on this tree. Take it over on that tree, and just go ahead and beat on that one. Does that sound quite a bit different to you?
Drastically different. It's much more solid, even though this tree may have some decay in it. In comparison to the percentage of decay in the first tree, this is much sounder at the base. And I would guess that there's very minimal, if any, decay in this particular tree.
Matter of fact, is that just hanging there, or can you actually beat that off?
It will come off.
And that's actually a fungus then.
Yes, that is the fungus within the decay that is attacking this. That is I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. It's the fruiting body of the decay on the outside of the tree. Well, without determining the exact percentage of the decay in this tree, I can't say exactly, but what it is doing is on a structural level, there's a large percentage of dead and decayed wood, which has virtually no structural integrity to hold up this massive 120-foot Sitka spruce. Just a guesstimate, approximately with the canopy and trunk, upwards of 35 to 40,000 pounds. Sitka spruce naturally have issues with some buttress decay and root rot, but what has caused the necessity of this overall project is just simply through the development of this park over the last 30 years, there were numerous different tree protection and root protection systems that were not implemented. The root protection never really occurred. There was compaction of the root zones, which compact the pore space out of the soil, which is very important for oxygen and water. That leads to root death. There was structures built right next to and on top of root zones, cutting off water to the root systems and additional root death. There was never any kind of progressive tree maintenance program ever implemented in this tree to keep a lot of these different issues from occurring. And simple things like nailing stuff to the trees. Pretty much every up-to-date progressive tree protection policy was never implemented into this park. Without the structures and the people, even with the condition that they are in now, it would be fine. But because of the targets that are within this park and the lack of tree protection throughout the development of this park, that is what has created the immense hazard and the necessity for removal of these trees. Well, as you can see, we're not even, even if we were dealing with a normal framed home, this size of tree would pose great risk and hazard to the structure and occupants. But when we're talking about trailers and just some very basic framed structures over the trailer, it serves virtually no protection for anybody within the structure. And in all cases, last November, the structures that were hit, the tree virtually went to the ground. There was one person in particular who was actually trapped in her home in the middle of the night with no power, no way to get out, not knowing what other trees had been destabilized by the one that had fallen onto her trailer, and she had to weather out the whole storm for, I believe, almost 4 hours before anybody came to help get her out of the structure. It was a very strong storm in the middle of the night. It was completely unsafe for anybody to try to, one, they had no idea that she was trapped, and two, that nobody was going to come into this forest with the high winds that were occurring throughout the night.
So
The initial goal is to mitigate the inherent risks in this park to the structures and the occupants by removing the hazardous trees. That is our initial goal, is the removal of these trees. In the future, I would love to see a progressive replanting program that on a 15-20 year timeline would initially obviously take the very defective structurally hazardous trees out and replace them with an unknown set of species, and eventually be able to repopulate this property with a healthy, diverse urban forest. Diverse, safe urban forest.
yes.